Hello race fans, sim fans, RC fans, Racing 393. Today I'm back on the TT01e, everybody's favourite chassis that they hate for some reason. Yes, it is long in the tooth, it has been around, but yes, there's plenty still to do with this chassis, and it's relatively cheap as well, and it's probably a good entry level chassis. Not so much specifically the TT01e. There's other variants. This is a particularly one of the early variants, but the TT02 is where perhaps a lot of people will be entering the hobby, possibly as a more the hobby grade RC car. Now this one I've had a while. I've been upgrading it, usual stuff. A lot of these upgrades can probably be done in 1 or 2 videos, but I'm not going to just keep buying stuff for this just because, as and when one is funds are available, 2 is when I want to put things on it, you know. So I've done quite a few running videos, not been too successful if I'm honest. A couple of things with it. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but a bit of tracking, the speed itself seems to work better with a NIM than like a nickel metal hydrate battery rather than a 2S, which is what I was using. So a little bit of work to do compatibility there somewhere on the line. But today is about some more upgrades. Now these are the last. There's still one upgrade to get. I don't. Actually, I'm just looking at it now. I can't remember now. I don't actually have this one, I don't think. So, no, I haven't. I can see it. So, the shock absorbers on the car are just generic shocks, which they work well actually. They're from China. So before you dismiss that, there is a lot of rubbish around. However, these ones are pretty good. And they're on the tuning springs, the soft red tuning springs for on-road Tamiya chassis. And I have got these in previous other cars, and you've seen it in previous other videos. That's what I meant to say. A hop up here of the low friction shock. So you've seen these loads of times. I mean, I've got them on my Mini. I think I've got these. Have I got one on my Mini? I can't remember now, but I've also got them on the Escort, I believe. So I'm not going to do a video of me doing these because they're, you know, I like doing them, but they're a bit boring to watch, I suppose, on a video. I mean, there's plenty of videos out there specialising in building these anyway, and they're just like any other shock, if I'm honest. But I'm going to replace the shocks on the car, and then I've got some damper stays here. These are the carbon ones, the front ones. I got these ages ago, but never really put them on because having to do that would means I would have to get new holes drilled in the body. No big problem at all, if I'm honest with you there either. However, this body's quite old now, so I'm actually thinking of replacing the body with another old retro rally 4-drive shell that would fit this chassis. Can't remember the wheel base on this one now. Is it 190 or 210? I can't remember. I have to measure it. I'm not sure. Well, I have got an idea which body shell I'm going to go, but I haven't fully made my mind up yet. So that would be the next thing. The other thing is that shock, carbon shock stay there's the front. I need to sort the back out as well. I'm not sure if Tamiya do an official hop-up rear stay, and if they do, why haven't I got one? Maybe I haven't looked for one yet. I had a quick look this morning, but I couldn't see an official Tamiya one, and there's plenty that are aftermarket, which, you know, if that's the case, that's the case. But before I put a body shell on, I need to replace the rear stay so that it's in its final position before I drill a new body shell. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there, get the shell off, and then we'll go for the next bit, the damper stay. And the body shell I will retire to sort of either the bin, or I'll stick it on my eBay store, just super cheap, just to really pay for the postage, just to sort of get, if somebody else wants an RS200 even, I should know my Fords, RS200 shell that's been cut for a TT01e chassis, then unless you've got the carbon stays, it should just go straight on standard fitting. So depending on the wheelbase, because you can alter the wheelbase depending on where you put the I think bottom wishbones. Pretty sure they can go either way, but anyway, that's I'll let you know towards the end of the video for that one. But anyway, let me get these shocks built. Oh, another thing, one thing before I sort of forget, shock oil. I've gone down the soft route. I don't want too much resistance with the shocks, trying to make it more stabler. And there's one other upgrade which I have got, which I will put on in this video, but I won't mention it just yet because I don't know how long this will take. This getting it all up to that point. But yeah, there's another upgrade which someone recommended in the comments to do, and it's an obvious upgrade for stability, so you might know what that is. Anyway, let me crack on and get these shock absorbers built, and the shock absorbers done, all four, lovely, no air bubbles, very easy to make, a very sort of basic shock like they most are. There's not much to them, just got to be built correctly, just making sure there's no air bubbles. That's it, that's all you got to do. These are they're quite short. Now, like I said, I've got some red springs to go on. However, I have found some different springs. They might be a little bit too stiff, but the shocks are very, very light, as in the damper oil, the damping's light. I'm going to try and see what these blue springs feel like. I don't really want the spring overcoming the damping, because it won't work properly. But yeah, let's get these built up as a shock, and I'll let you know what I think with these new, well, they're not new, I've just had them a while, but unused, blue springs. There you go. So I've settled with the blue springs. I don't know what, I think they came from China. I just bought them for something that I was trying out and I never got around to doing it. So they're not too bad. They feel okay. You know, they're beautifully done. I'm hoping that there's like not too much rebound in those springs that overcomes the shock. You know, the whole purpose of the shock is to dampen the road, isn't it? If the spring overcomes the oil, they won't work properly. You won't get the proper results. But that works on full size and model cars. So yeah, looks right. So I'm going to keep those ones on for now, which means when I take the other shocks off the actual car that are fitted to the car, they'll stay complete. If I don't get much luck with these springs, then I can always change it to the official Tamiya softer, I think road springs is what I've got on there. So right, what's next? Well, because the rear shock tower is staying as is, I can fit these on the rear, and then it's a little bit of a mission to fit the carbon front stay. At that point, the body shell won't be able to go back on because those holes there are going to be moved, but the back ones should be the same. Anyway, let me get on with that. Got the rear shocks on. The only problem being is that because of these stays, they're quite thick, so I need longer ball joints or ball sockets at the bottom. So the shock is very slightly, it's not perfectly straight, but it doesn't really matter for the time being. But I'll give you like an overview of what it looks like now. So if I drop the shock at the back, I'll just so it's perfect now on the weight. Now there's no battery in this car, so that might change that. But if I move, I actually won't move the camera. The camera's all right here. So just go that one again. Bear in mind it's going to be a road rally car, so it's not off-road. So that's okay with those springs. I'll just turn the car around. So there's the front of the car. These are the Chinese shocks. I think they're probably leaked out of oil now, to be honest. They've been on there a while. And these are the Tamiya red, the softest red springs that you get. If I drop the front, I mean, bear in mind there is less weight on the front, but so that's no good at all. Far too springy, and the main reason is it's pretty no oil in those shocks, but when they're rebuilt, they do actually perform quite well. But it is quite stiff. It sort of springs up, so it's probably been like that a while actually. Even when I've done them, it's probably very slightly better than that. But that's probably not helped with the making the car unstable. So that's surely going to make a big difference next time we use it. So I'm going to get on and do the front stay and put the front shocks on, and then that will be that for now. I've got the front, I'm going to move the camera. I've got the carbon front stay on, and I've mounted the body mounts in a different place. It's typically where you can mount them anyway, to be honest. So let me just move the camera. Yeah, it goes on all right. The only disadvantages, the bottom of the shocks are not quite straight. I need to get some extended ball studs, longer ones where I can space out, and the same with the rear as well. I'll have a look at those, that's not a problem. Just to sort of align the shocks a little bit more, because they're sort of canted back at the moment. It's not a massive problem, but the main problem is the back moves. No, there's quite a lot of movement there, but the front, you could do with perhaps a shock tower slightly higher, but it's only got quite a small amount of movement there, but it still works as a shock absorber. You know, let me just quickly show you. Get all of that somehow, but moving the camera, trying to keep it in shot. So that's, I'll just do the back again. So the back is fine, front is fine, but it works fine. It's shock absorbs like it's supposed to. There's not a lot of movement there, look. And that's without a battery in it. It's going to go ever so slightly lower with the battery in it. So even if I run a 2S, there's not be a lot of different. If I run a NIM, there's quite a lot of weight there, isn't there? So, but anyway, that's that for now. There's only one other thing that I plan to do. I've got some different wheels. I'm going to see if they fit, and then I'm going to be probably about a year ago now. Even I bought some contact racing tyres, foam. I was trying to get as much as I could out of the sort of a fairly standard setup with rubber tyres which expand, and I found now the ones I settled on were pre-glued, and they're fine. There's a lot. These are actually very good. There's not a lot of give in them, but they still would expand, and that could I suppose contribute to some of the unstableness when it's going at a speed. Yeah, at the end of the day, 40. What do I get out of this? 43. Still not high, but for one of these, 43 miles an hour is quick. It's pretty not designed to do that quick, is it? It's just not meant to do it. So I've got some foam tyres. Yeah, I mean that's going to make a difference. They're slightly different sizes, front and rear. Backs are slightly bigger, so you want to get a bit more top speed out of it. I'm not too keen on the wheels, but you know, they are what they are. They were pre-glued and trimmed and trued, if you like. So yeah, so we've got some contact tyres, front and rear. That's the sort of the upgrade for next time we get the car out. A couple more bits, some extended ball sockets for the bottom of the shocks, and I'm going to try and find a carbon rear shock stay. If it's aftermarket, so be it. And then we're going to fit a new body, and we're going to go from there. There'll be a link in the description. I'm going to sell the other body shell along with the standard springs that come with those low friction shocks. They're the silver ones. Just these here, they're standard. I'm not going to use them. They're fairly soft. They'll fit any of the Tamiya shocks anyway. So I'm going to sell the body shell. I've got a load of these. I think I've got about, loads. I'm going to get rid of them anyway. I'm not going to need them. They're taking up small spaces in my toolbox. Yeah, so there'll be a link in the description for the shell and the springs, and you can go from there, see what you want. Okay, right, that's the end of that. Didn't take too long, probably a couple of hours all in all. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you very soon for the next time we fit a shell and get the rear shock towels done and then a body shell. Alright, thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon.